Yeah, actually, I don't know if you all are aware of this, but this is the first time Anthony and I are meeting.
All right, what is it really?
I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that. I was like,
guys. Welcome back to Between Pages and Friends, a book club podcast hosted by Con and Lauren, two besties who read a lot of books, and Jon and Kyle, their 5-star husbands who read fantasy books with them. I'm Jon.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Con. Today we are joined by the incredible narrators behind the Quicksilver audiobook, Stella Bloom and Anthony Palmini. We have such a fun conversation to share with you today about what it was like bringing these characters to life, their approach to audiobook narration, and some of the other exciting projects they've worked on.
Yes, Stella Bloom is the voice of Saeris Fane. She is a 2-time audiophile earphones award winner and a seasoned narrator with dozens of audiobooks under her belt. She's a well-known name in the romance and fantasy audio world with a performance style that consistently brings depth and nuance to complex characters.
And Anthony Palmini, who voices Kingfisher, is a multifaceted creative with a wide-ranging background in the entertainment industry. In addition to his work as a narrator, he's an experienced writer, director, editor, and composer. His storytelling expertise brings a cinematic edge to his voice work.
Before we get into the conversation, if you've been enjoying this season, we'd love to have you join us on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can be part of our cozy Book Bestie Discord, hop into monthly book chats, and hang out with fellow readers. Or upgrade to $10 Found Family tier for exclusive perks like merch discounts, early access to episodes, and behind-the-scenes content.
And if you love this episode, you can write a review on Audible or Apple Podcasts. This is the best way to support and help more listeners discover this podcast. You might even get a shout out just like this one. Here's a recent 5-star review on Apple Podcasts from our new bestie, J3 Name 5, titled So Great. I'm new to the BPNF podcast, but have been following them on Insta since I got hooked on Romantasy. I made the mistake of listening today at work on my earbuds and had people coming to check on me because I was laughing so hard. I love the dynamics of this group and their banter. Please keep doing what you're doing. This is amazing.
That's great. I can picture it.
I love that for you.
Thank you so much for the review.
Just random laughing in the cubicle. People are like, what the?
Boss checking on your mental health.
All right, well, let's jump in. Let's welcome the voices of Saeris and Kingfisher and all of our other favorites from Quicksilver, audiobook narrators Stella Bloom and Anthony Palmini.
Well, Stella and Anthony, welcome to Between Pages and Friends.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Yes, we're very excited to have you both here. And I just want to add, very honored that you've taken some time to sit down and chat with us. Honestly, like, you guys both bring such an incredible talent to the craft. It's truly a pleasure to share some moments with you today and be able to share those with our community as well. So just, again, like, a very heartfelt thank you for being here.
Oh,
thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
We are blown away by your performances in Quicksilver and the bonus chapters. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
It is honestly one of my favorite audiobooks that I've listened to. And I'm not just saying that because you're here. It's for real. Some of the like surprises that happened with like your voices on top of each other and just some of the choices that were made with it's just so good all around. So thank you for an incredible experience as a reader. I really appreciate it.
That's
Thank you.
Sweet. Yeah, thank you for those nice words.
Yes, all of us like love this audiobook so much. The duet style narration is so cool, and both of you guys are just amazing. So we've been counting down to this interview because we have so many things we're dying to ask you about your recording process, your careers, and the Fae and Alchemy series in general. So let's get started.
Yeah. Before we get into all things Quicksilver, we want to get to know you both a little better. So for anyone listening who might be new to your work, we'd love for you to just introduce yourselves, walk us through what your career has looked like so far. We'll start with ladies first. Stella?
Oh, that's so chivalrous. Yeah, so I've been recording audiobooks since about 2013. I went to drama school and always really loved like voice and speech work. I think there's just so many cool things you can do and express with your voice. And so I always kind of had in the back of my mind that I would love, like it would be a dream to do audiobooks, but kind of had no thought of how to do that. And then one day I was on Facebook and someone who had also gone to my program posted like, I just did my first audiobook with Audible. And I was like, well, if he can do it, like I can do it. How do you get into that? I mean, he's wonderful. Not like to downplay that he doesn't. But it was like so serendipitous because it was one of those amazing things where I could just like, I Googled Audible audition, which I'm pretty sure you cannot do anymore and probably haven't been able to do for years. But at that time, they were hiring a lot of new narrators, and I ended up auditioning, and kind of just one book led to another, so to speak. And yeah, and now here I am and been doing it for over a decade, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Thanks.
What about you, Anthony?
Oh, I still don't know how I got here. No. I have an actor background, but mostly doing comedy. I used to do improv comedy. I used to do a lot of sketch comedy. And then I always wanted to do voice acting. So I did voice acting for a little bit, but it wasn't until like I want to say like 2019, I started to really get into it. And then by chance, somebody had posted open roster for graphic audio, which had started including people doing remote work. And so I auditioned, and then one book that led to another, which led to Court of Thorn and Roses. I got the Resand voice, which is,
Jon loves Resand.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And that led to then them asking me to audition for Kingfisher and Quicksilver. And then that's how I got into that. So for like about, I would say 5 years now, 4 years now, I've been doing audiobooks. Really, the last two has been like just focus on that. And I really enjoy it. I really enjoy doing that. So, yeah.
And you're great at it. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So was there a moment that felt like a turning point in any of your careers that you were like, this is it. This is the moment. It's happening.
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess for me, it's just constantly just trying to, just really deep dive into audiobooks. And I think so far, the things I've been blessed to be cast in, I'm really trying to explore that. So I don't know if I think about that too much. It's just more like, for me, it's just go, 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 which I don't know if that's always a good thing. But for me, it's good. It's just like, don't think of like the other stuff. Just like get the work, do the work, move on to the next one, enjoy the work, and then move on to the next one. But it is pretty cool to kind of look at the other side and be like, oh, they like my performance. All right, good. I must be doing something right. So let me just keep going.
Keep doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is totally easy to kind of just go, go, go. Anthony, I totally resonate with that. It's like, because it's freelance work. So you feel like I think there's that
Right.
fear of like, if I say no, I'll never work again. If I take a break, I'll never come back. But yeah, it's hard to locate like the domino that tipped all the other dominoes. But I feel like definitely work breeds work. And I have so many people who reach out and they're like, I heard you on this. I would love to hire you for this. Or like things of that nature. Yeah. So I don't know if there's like one thing, but it is nice that people appreciate work from other books and then want to keep hearing that voice, I guess.
Yeah.
I know you both kind of mentioned almost like stumbling into this kind of work. Was there a point where you first knew or that you wanted to be a voice actor or narrator? Or were there, once you started getting into it, were there any specific people whose work you came to be familiar with that you admired, that you kind of used that as like a springboard for your experience?
I would say for me, it's always kind of been around. I remember growing up and my dad always trying to become like a radio host. And so he always had like a tape recorder around, and I remember hearing him like practice with his voice. So that was always kind of in the background in my journey. And that was like a big influence of like, because he also had a very nice sounding, I definitely get my voice from my dad. So I was kind of working with that as I was trying my career as an actor and other stuff. And then it's funny, my first voiceover teacher was audiobook narrator first. But I mean, currently he's audiobook narrator, but before that, of course, he'd done other stuff. And so the one thing that he told me, especially with narration, he's just like, oh, it's a marathon. A lot of people say they can't do it, but the good thing is that you have more time to spend with characters. You have more time to bring them to life. And he always told me like that. Yeah. That's what he loved about it. And then as I started to get work in that, I kind of remembered that like, oh yeah, I do have more time to kind of be with these characters and more tries at it as you couldn't if you were in a short form. So that's why I kind of now I'm like going into narration just because of that, where I'm like, oh yeah, I get to kind of be with these characters a little more and really, show more sides to those characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that about audiobooks that you actually get to tell a whole story. I mean, there is obviously a lot of work for actors in voiceover for things like what's the word I'm looking for? Advertisements. Yeah, but which is just like I've never really gotten into that, although my mom was in advertising. So when I was little, I did a couple of like kids voiceovers. And so that was the first time I did that,
It's fun.
which was very fun. And I definitely like the idea of getting back to that. But now it's kind of hard to imagine doing that. I mean, it would be cool, but it's a whole other part of the industry that certainly takes its own kind of endeavor to get into. But yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine like saying one line and feeling like, wow, I'm so satisfied by that or fulfilled by it. Or like, you
Yeah.
know, sinking into a whole world. And also, I think it's such a great question. Like, was there a moment when we knew when we wanted to do this? I was just thinking about like being younger, like in middle school and high school and elementary school, and like always wanting to be the kid who was like, I'll read it out loud. I'll read it out loud. So maybe it did.
Okay.
I can get through the whole paragraph without making a mistake.
And now you do it professionally.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
That's
I am
such
the
a great
exact
relation.
opposite of
I like never would have thought of that, but now that you've like mentioned it, it's like that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I never thought of it either.
Yeah.
So we've alluded to this a little bit already, but what kinds of acting or recording work do you do outside of audiobooks?
Just gonna prove my point that I was like, it's I don't know if Anthony, you're like, is Stella gonna go? Because like I can for me. But yeah, I'll just keep my answer brief. I sometimes have done like musicals and Shakespeare. So
Ooh.
acting
Cool.
Oh, wow.
pass it over to you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm same for, well, definitely not same for me. I wish I could do both those things you just said. I can't carry a tune, and Shakespeare is awesome. Yeah, it's funny. Before this, I kind of still am. I do video editing. I used to be a professional video editor before this. So I still do that,
Okay.
and I still direct some things as well. So outside of that, that's my other stuff that I do.
Nice.
Sweet.
Cool.
I guess kind of a follow-up to that before I get to the question I had next. I did a little research and I noticed that, Anthony at least, that you take a lot of cameo requests for like people asking
Yeah.
for like lines of different characters. Do you get a specific character asked for more than others? Like I saw some for like Resand, saw some for Kingfisher. Do you feel like you've noticed a level change there?
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm taking a pause on that because I have so much work to do now.
That's
Um,
good.
Yeah.
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. When I started that, I was like, yeah, I have time now. It's just like,
Yeah.
But when I did do it, it was definitely Resand, and it was definitely There You Are, that
Yes,
was
of course.
number one request. Number one
That makes
request.
sense.
Yeah.
Well, sort of in that same line of thinking, like what have been some of your favorite projects to work on, like audiobook or otherwise, just favorite projects in the sphere of art?
It's a good question. Bring it down to one.
You can list a couple. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've enjoyed both Akatar and Quicksilver. I think out of so far the ones that I've done, those have been fun, I guess just for me for personal reasons, where those were, the kind of my biggest so far. And there's so many quotable lines, there's so many interesting characters. So I would definitely say those two have been like so far, out of, I would say definitely those two.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I think this is such a great question and a hard one. I was thinking that I really enjoy. I work with a couple of authors I do a lot of their books from different series, and I think it's nice to work with the same authorial voice. Like you just kind of get to dive into what their sort of, I don't know, worldview or story view is, and it's fun to visit different characters within that. Definitely loved working on Quicksilver. It's just so immersive. And also there is something super nice about duet where like I don't have to exhaust my voice.
Yeah.
The guy voices are so, and I'm like, thank God there's somebody with like a really deep resonant voice who can do the character. It's like, oh, it takes it out of me.
Well, let's start talking about Quicksilver. So, what drew you guys to the project when it first kind of heard of it, or you were first approached, and, what were some things that kind of stood out to you about the series?
A good question. I'm going to say that a lot. Good questions, because they are good questions. It's funny going back kind of to what Stella was saying is like, I loved the idea of duet narration. Of course, I love POV narration, the traditional one, but I'm still kind of new to audiobooks. So to hear like, oh, there's somebody else and there's a back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That means that I don't have to worry about making a high pitched voice for the
Yeah.
or like Stella said, making the deep voice. So it was that definitely I was like, okay, cool, that's cool. And then, they were I was looking at like the story overall and the characters that were in it and the world, kind of just reading the excerpt that they gave me. I was just like, okay, yeah, I could totally see myself being able to pull off what they are requesting. And so I think it was those kind of things that definitely drew me to it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question to like what drew us to it because I think you kind of alluded to this, Anthony, but we get reached out to by the producers to like, are you interested in this book or not, or would you like to be considered? And when I got the synopsis, it sounded super exciting. I love a kind of fiery, smart heroine like
Mhm.
Saeris, and then I was also like, Callie Hart, where do I know that name from? And I realized that we had talked, and it didn't come to fruition, but we had talked like a decade ago about another book of hers, and we basically just like we were talking over ACX, which is the Audiobook Creation Exchange, where authors can hire narrators directly. And I think it was just one of those things where like I had missed her email, she'd missed it. Basically, it just didn't work out. But like I was like, oh my gosh, I know this author.
That's crazy.
That's so cool.
Small world.
Yeah, I think she's a great writer. So
She is.
excited to have
Cool.
been through this.
Yeah. So was this your first duet narration for either of you?
No, not for me. I've done a couple of others, but not very many.
I think this was my first. When I did Akatar, that was like more of just one character
Yeah.
among many. And so this was the
Mhm.
first time that it was just two narrators. And so I think that was
Yeah.
my first, yeah.
How is the duet narration process different? Like, do you hear what the other person's recording, or do you still just like do everything by yourself and then they like layer it together?
Yeah. At least for the most part, for what I've been through, it's been just, you record your stuff and the other person records their stuff. Of course, there's emails back and forth of
Yeah.
like, if there's anything with pronunciations or anything that comes up, for the most part is like they
Yeah.
merge it together. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you all are aware of this, but this is the first time Anthony and I are meeting.
All right. What is it really?
I didn't want to say that. I didn't
Well,
want to
happy
say that. I was
meeting,
like,
guys.
We should have
Oh
you
my
guys introduce
gosh.
yourselves to
Glad
each
we could
other.
bring you guys together.
it's like so cool to hear her and like hear her story. I'm just like, all right, just don't say anything. Not yet, not yet. I was waiting to see when that was the appropriate
That's
time.
awesome, though. I was gonna ask that if you guys
Wow.
had like talked to each other. That's awesome.
That's so funny because you've recorded a few books together now, right? Like I saw one today that comes out. The audiobook comes out in August for
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I saw both of your names on there. Have you done any more than this series and then that one?
No, just those
No.
two.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is so
That's
funny.
crazy.
We've emailed, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like talked on the phone or met over Zoom or anything.
So
Wow.
I'm fanning as well. I'm a big fan
Yeah,
of
me
the work.
same.
So,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's so wild that you can you can be in the industry like this and do something like
Yes.
this and have that be the case. Like,
Well, especially as you're like intimate as your characters get with each other. Like that sounds jokey,
Right.
but like for real,
Yeah.
on all sorts of levels. And then to think, that you guys have literally never even talked. It's very funny.
So was the only like hearing each other when the lines were actually recorded, or did you like send little voice clips in the emails being like, this is the voice I'm using, just so you know? Like,
Nope.
Wow.
That's honestly, that is mind blowing to me, and it's so much more impressive because it's like when you're listening to the duet narration,
Yeah.
there's such great like chemistry. There's a really good flow between all of
Yeah.
the characters and like the back and forth, and I'm like mind blown by that
Yeah.
right now.
even the tempo of saying things like Anarath Moore, you would think if you hadn't heard it, that they
Yeah.
would be like said at different lengths or times, or like it matched up so well.
That is
Yeah.
wild.
Crazy.
That's awesome. Great job, guys.
It's a real testament to both the writing and the editing that it
Mhm.
sounds like we're just
Yes.
Good
in
point.
a room talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Even listening to like the first couple of chapters and then actually hearing the back and forth, I was like, "Oh, I'm so glad I stepped up my game because she's like bringing it." And
Oh my gosh.
oh my, I was like,
Oh my gosh. So another thing that I think is really unique about this series is that there's a new audiobook for the bonus chapters specifically, which was so cool to listen to, and I love that it was kind of that same sort of style. So I'm just curious if your process differed at all from recording the Quicksilver book versus the bonus chapters, since that was like kind of a different setup.
I think it was pretty much the same. Yeah, I think it's just kind of what Stella was saying. You know, they reach out, they give us information, and then we kind of just we go with it. Any questions, kind of have that email chain. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and also it was nice that the like POV was reversed. So I feel like this term in musical theater where if somebody like comes on for one song and then leaves and they're not in the rest of the show, they call that the princess track. And I'm like, oh, this time I had the princess track where I had like 10 minutes of lines. I just like came in, got in and out of the booth, you know, it's much easier. The whole book.
That's awesome.
and I try not to put that pressure on myself. I'm like, oh my God, this is the whole book is on me now. Oh my God.
Share the next one. For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in Quicksilver, you each voiced, I believe, like at least 3 characters each. Did you have like a favorite character voice to use, and or like why or who was your favorite character to voice?
I think mine was definitely Carrion
Yes.
Swift. I think that was fun, like really fun to do.
Hmm.
And then just one for like just to kind of just throw it there was Archer, just because he was so
We love him.
different. Good. Okay, good. Because I was like, I don't know if I'm doing too much of this high pitched voice.
No, it was
Um,
perfect.
okay,
We
good,
love him
good, good,
so
good.
much.
Okay, good. Oh, okay, good. All right. Yeah, so that one it was really fun because it was so different from the other characters that I was doing. So that was kind of fun to do. But those would be my two.
So Carrion is so fun. And I obviously don't voice him at all, but I think that was like I was reading through it, and I'm kind of like, I'm not sad I don't get to give Kingfisher voice because I don't think that I could do him justice, and I don't think I could do Carrion justice the way you do, Anthony. But there was a part of me that was like, oh, he's so fun to
Yeah.
read. He's just such a great
That's
character.
great.
He
Um,
is. He's the best.
Yeah, I really like the baddies, so I think it was fun to voice Madra and Saris. I mean, Saris is so fun.
She's a baddie in her own right.
Yeah,
Yeah, she is.
Different kind of baddie.
yeah, and it's actually funny because like I don't think there were that many women in
Yeah.
aside from Saris. Like I was thinking, like wow, I actually only really, I mean, not only, but yeah, it was just there were a lot more men.
For sure.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
Everlane is only there for a little bit, and Dandy's
Yeah.
only in and
And
out.
Danby, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Did you call her Danby?
Yeah, she did.
Danny.
No, her name is Danya, but Connor did not like the character and was like, whatever this Danby lady's name is. So we just called her Danby for the podcast.
Yeah.
Our bad.
There's a lot to the bonus chapters, or yeah, just
Oh.
got a lot.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
true. That is true. I have hopes that she'll have a turnaround. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there.
If
But-
anyone could make me like Danya, it's Callie Hart.
That's true.
Or Carrion Swift.
That's never been an issue.
Yeah, you don't have to force that one.
Oh, that
No, I mean,
you'll
like,
like
if they-
Danya because
Oh,
They
I
like
see.
get
I
together.
get you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
For me, it was I'm listening to the audiobook and reading along the book. And if I just read, Renfist would be a really good character. He's a great side character and friend. But that Scottish accent, I immediately melted forever and ever. And he's my all-time favorite because of his accent. It's the only thing I have to stand on that. So thank you. I love him so
Yeah.
much.
Did you have to do any like dialect coaching or anything for that, or did you just kind of do some research and go for it?
I did, yeah, what I usually, and I try my best. What I do is whenever I know there's an accent, I just start to absorb listening to shows from that area,
Nice.
listening to just people speak, and I try to just keep in that flow, and then I start to record. That's just how I kind of hope to keep it, consistent.
Yeah.
So definitely Scottish. I was like, okay.
So what were you watching
I
or
was gonna say,
listening
what's your
to?
favorite Scottish show?
I literally just YouTube. I was YouTube like Scottish accent, and
Okay.
then whatever came up, usually it was like people that were like YouTubers or from
Mm.
there that I had
Oh,
no idea
nice.
who they were. And then I was just like, oh, okay. And then I kind of deep
Like
dive
super
a little more, like,
authentic
okay,
people. Yeah.
different regions of Scotland as
Mhm.
well. So
Yeah.
and
So
I wish I
no
could remember the
Braveheart going on
names.
in the background or
No,
anything.
no, 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 no. At first,
Yeah.
I tried, and then I was like, I don't know if I could use this as a reference.
Yeah, true.
That's
Yeah.
valid.
Maybe the energy, but
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
Well, because I think Ishabal has a Scottish accent as well. And Stella, you do great with that one as well.
Yeah.
They're both wonderful. I love
Thank
the
you.
Oh
Scottish
yeah,
accent.
she does
So.
have a little bit of
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well, obviously, we know you guys didn't write the book, but since you have a little more connection to the author, I wanted to ask these questions just to see if you had input or if it was discussed amongst you all on your side of things. So, in the Kingfisher POV bonus chapters, there are some subtle differences in the audiobook than it is on her website where she has the stuff written. And so, one of those is really simple, which is when Bal and Mithin call Kingfisher handsome. Instead, on the website, it says fierce heart. Does that mean anything? Or did you guys talk about that? Or is it just your script said handsome?
That's exactly, yeah. My script said that, and I read the
Okay. Sounds good. Dang. Because the next one's going to be a game changer for the whole book. Then the other one is when Kingfisher creates the bathroom out of his like illusion power for Saeris to go into. In the website, it says that his power for shadows comes from his mother and his power of illusion comes from his father. But in the audiobook, it says shadows are from the father and illusions are from the mother. So that would change things. If our theory that Finran is still alive, maybe, and comes back, what power would he have? Maybe stuff about like mom's journal or information we get as far as how that would affect. So I didn't know if you had any input on who's that you can't even talk about.
That's what the script said, so I read it. I'm sorry.
All right. That's a valid answer.
Quite literally a man of his word.
Yeah. We'll just get Callie on the phone, hopefully. So
Yeah,
I'll ask her.
call her up. So speaking of Callie, this is the part where we would love to dive into some Brimstone questions, but since the book has not been released yet, Stella and Anthony, I know you understandably can't share any details about Brimstone just yet. So we would love to talk a bit about working with Callie, though. Have you guys had the chance to work with her directly at all, or like what has that collaboration looked like?
Yeah, I mean, definitely for the POV, I know when we were doing some promotional stuff for it that came up, I believe, on TikTok and Instagram. And she's always so nice. I mean, it's so nice to work with such like cool and just I can just tell by I mean, I haven't spoken to her face to face, but just in the email, it's just like, yeah, definitely let's try this, excitement, and so that's cool. It's been cool to kind of do that. But yeah, I think that's probably as far as I can say working with her is to that capacity. Definitely cool working together.
Yeah, I would say also from a kind of from afar, she
Yeah.
seems wonderful, and that we have kind of minimally been in contact. Yeah, I kind of just echo what Anthony said. I think I've had a little bit even less interfacing with her than that. So, but she shines through the words in
She
the
does.
book.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, transitioning a little bit away from Quicksilver, Anthony, so your performance as Rysand in the Akatar graphic audio recordings,
Yes.
obviously high up there, very iconic. Fans love the take on the character, clearly. Was it intimidating to kind of step into that role, knowing how, passionate the fan base was? Did you kind of have that mindset going into it? Were you aware of like, all that kind of stuff going into it?
I'll try to keep the story short, but the gist of it is when I had auditioned for that role, I had no idea what that was. It was
Okay.
just like they said it was a popular book, and up until that point, I had no idea what that meant, popular. I just thought, oh, okay, people know about it. Okay, that's cool. And then I got the role and we recorded. And even then, I did no research. I just recorded it and was like, all right, hope this works. And it wasn't until probably, it probably wasn't until the audio was released, the audiobook was released, when by chance the director was like, the audio director was like, so, did you see the how, big this book is? I mean, did you do any research? I was like, no. She was like, oh, it's probably a good thing you didn't do that. And when I looked at what that world was like and how popular it was, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm so glad I didn't do that. I would be freaking out right now
Yeah, probably
if
would have
that was
set
You're
my
the
like
nerves
the
off a
introduction to
man.
little
this
bit.
character.
That's amazing.
So after that, I,
yeah.
I kind of was just like, it's done. They liked it. The weight kind of went off a little bit, even though now I
Yeah.
knew how big it was. I was like, okay, at least I knew where I'm going with this character. I can continue doing that. But
Yeah.
that first
Yeah.
time, I was like totally blind. I had no idea.
Wild.
Probably, yeah, retrospect, probably a
The
good call
best.
on that one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, follow up to that a little bit. Has portraying someone like Rhysand or Kingfisher influenced the way that you kind of approach other characters or other voices in other projects?
Yeah, I even kind of today I try not to get too much in my head of like trying to make too different of a voice, because I know where my voice can go, and then I know when I strain my voice trying to go somewhere it shouldn't. And
Mhm.
so I try to just look at the characters and say, okay, what is it about their characteristics that I can make different other than just the voice? And then have that kind of merged and then find the voice there and that good happy medium where it's like, okay, I know what they're looking for, but what can I slightly change to make this character a little bit different from the other characters that I'm doing? So
Yeah.
I try to always
Yeah.
just remember like, okay, what else can I add here? So
Would
that way it's
you
it's different.
would you be able to think of an example of like how you did that between Rhysand and Kingfisher?
Well, that was a little bit, I don't want to say easier, because he was always, kind of a little bit more regal, if that's the right word.
Okay.
Like
Uh huh.
to me, at least to me in my mind, there was something there where he has been around for a while, interacting with people,
Yeah.
where I felt like Kingfisher, where he was just coming out of that, and there's like a feralness to him. Like there's a little bit more of intensity. And
Yeah.
so where Rhysand has his moments of that intensity, I was like, well, what if this character has to suppress that a little bit because there's more going on?
Oh yeah.
And so I came from that angle where it's like, okay, he's more this way and he's more that way, and then
Yeah.
that helped kind of make the difference between the two.
Awesome.
That's cool. Well, and Stella, we absolutely adore you as Saeris Fane. So we'd like to know some more of your experience getting into her headspace, highlighting like her sass and resilience, her power. Were there any like particular challenges that you had voicing her character or?
I think she is really accessible for me through how Callie has written her, in the sense that I think like everything to me about her is like so there on the page. Like I don't have to think about, okay, so it's indicated that she's fierce and intelligent and resilient, but it's not really there in the lines. But like it absolutely is for her.
Yeah.
And so I think just like trusting the text really has been the best way of getting into it. And challenges, I would say, like speaking to Anthony's point also about like what is healthy and sustainable, there, I think my probably healthiest place of speaking is a little bit like higher in my register than probably I want Sarah's to be. And so sometimes it can be a little tiring to just like make sure that I'm staying kind of grounded in how I think she sounds. Yeah, I would say that's the hardest part, especially because the first book is so long. But yeah, I would say ultimately it's right there in front of me. I just have to trust Callie basically to get into that space.
That's cool. Well, I know you also narrate other things like some romance novels and specifically some hockey romances, which are some of my favorites. I know Con loves them too. Do you have a specific like genre you love to narrate, or do you have something that differs from your favorites that are like fun to read over like narrating?
I love to narrate things that are funny. So the hockey romances often fall into that category
Yeah.
because there's often, I mean, I love enemies to lovers, so
Mhm.
Quicksilver is right up that alley, but I think there's a lot of fun to be had in the hockey romance world, and definitely a lot of that trope there as well. And yeah, I just love I love a book that sort of has fun with itself and with its characters. I find that super satisfying and just like energizing over a 6-hour day of recording to kind of be like chuckling along with it. Yeah, I love something that's funny, and I love a heroine who makes a fool of herself, I would say. So I can't think of exactly what a book that falls into that, but it is one of my favorite things to narrate. And does it differ from what I read for pleasure? I mean, it's great to be able to do something for a living that is pleasurable. But I would say that when I read things for fun, I'm kind of more of an old school romance reader of like stuff from the 19th century. Um, Looking at my Jane Austens and my Charlotte Bronte and Thomas Hardy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you ever find it like in the booth that you're recording in or whatever that you actually make yourselves laugh, or have you ever actually cried during a moment? Because I know I've cried listening to you talk to me about the book, but do you ever like have that, or does it feel like you can separate yourself, I guess, from those moments?
Laugh, definitely, that's easy.
Mhm.
Laugh, if it's there, it's there. If it's, if it's gonna make me laugh, and then if I say it and it makes me laugh, I'm like, okay, if it makes me laugh, I think this will be a funny way of saying it, or this is exactly how.
Yeah.
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 So that I love that. I love this. That's why again going like carrying is just like there's certain things where I just laugh. I'm just like, oh my God, this is hilarious. Try, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I have to think back to that. I mean, definitely I try to put in that emotion of the
Yeah.
heartbreak, but I don't know if I've gotten there yet where I've tied maybe something where it's too close to home or
Sure.
Mm.
but definitely laughing. Definitely laughing. That's happened to me.
Mm. Yes, I have laughed and I have cried in the booth. And crying is a real pain in the butt because then your sinuses get all clogged. You're like, you have to go like take a break now. Clear out my facial mask. But and it's so funny too. Like I've worked with I don't work with an engineer anymore because I have a home studio. But when I used to work with an engineer, I'd be like really feeling myself in those crying moments, just like, wow, I'm such a good actor. And then like 3 lines later, my engineer would be like, yeah, you're kind of like, I can hear your mouth clicking and like hear how nasal you are now. So if you could just like step out and deal with that. I'm like, no, sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh
The
man.
immediate need to be humbled.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sounds gross.
That's funny. Well, how has Quicksilver's duet narration changed your recording process as opposed to like the more traditional single or dual POV audiobook? Or has it changed the process?
I think for me the process is the same. The only thing is that I have to remind myself to snap so engineers know where to put the female
Mhm.
dialogue in. And I try to stay wary of that because, if you want to make it easy, you want to make it easier for them to just be like, okay, this is where it should go, this is where it should go. And sometimes I
Yeah.
forget and I'm just like, oh my God, go back. Oh.
Does that make the sassy lines easier? Like right when you say something with a lot of sass, you got her.
I'm gonna think about that now. That's actually pretty good. Yeah. I like that.
I would say it hasn't changed it that much, but it is interesting coming from the POV narrative of like just doing all the characters and being so in the middle of the scene and doing it all yourself versus like, okay, now I've got to snap for the male character's lines. And I'm kind of like, okay, so I'm reading it, but I have 2 seconds, but also I'm like, okay, I'm jumping back in with the response line. It's something to get used to for sure. But it also kind of keeps you more in your character, which is nice and like connected to just that one person's or the multiple females in any chapter, but usually for this one was just Sarah. So, yeah, so not hugely different, but to a certain extent, yeah.
Do you use any like physical cues, or like do you express a lot physically while you're reading or recording?
I do to a certain extent, but you also have to be so careful because anything you do will make a noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think sometimes, especially when I'm like trying to bring a thought, I think it can be super helpful for how the voice comes across too, to kind of use your arms or your hands. Yeah.
We kind of touched on it a little bit, Stella, with your engineering story, but do you have any funny or memorable moments from a booth that you can share from recording Quicksilver or any other books, just funny or memorable things that have happened?
Hmm. Well, I would say I have lived in fear for the over decade that I've been doing this that I'm going to mispronounce a main character's name. And that happened with this book where I was like, and it was very subtle, but it's a 20-hour book. And I think I say the name Kingfisher like 1,000 times. And when I first recorded the entire book, I said Kingfisher. And they came back and they were like, it's Kingfisher. And I was like, okay. Okay, here it is. I've been waiting for this to happen. And it just did. And I guess now I've survived, but that is mortifying. And having to re-record every single line where I have to say Kingfisher.
Wow. Just for the emphasis too, not even really the pronunciation.
Yeah.
That's like a teacher having you write something on the board 100 times back in the day, just so you're sure you get it right.
That's so accurate. Oh my gosh.
That is wild.
That is crazy.
Has that ever happened to you, Anthony?
I'm going through that right now, so it's funny.
Are you
that you
really?
mentioned that. I don't know where I don't know where or what to really what I can speak of. I mean, it's nothing bad, but there was 3 versions of the manuscript, and somehow I messed up and I did the first manuscript that was missing dialogue. So I recorded everything, and then they were like, "No, you gotta now redo it." And then I just submitted that to find that there was a 3rd version of that.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
So now I have to go back and then triple check the ones that I send to then maybe omit or add. So yeah.
Ouch.
That's rough.
So, but it's good practice for me to really just, I mean, I'm definitely, this is a series, so I'll definitely be 100% in character with these characters, because I'll know every version of how they're thinking, of how they're saying it. I will
Spending
know
a
these
whole lot of
characters
time.
front and back by the next book. So I kind of look at the positive side of that as like, oh, next book I'm going to so kill these characters. Like, these characters are going to be, they're going to be like, wow. So
Well, I also had a question sort of directly related to sort of a running bit that we've had in our podcast episodes about Quicksilver. And Anthony, this might feed into like your improv experience. I don't know if you can step into Kingfisher or just speak on his behalf, but Kingfisher was pretty rude, maybe a little bit manipulative of Saeris near the beginning of the book. And
Maybe.
Believe me, I'm holding back. I'm
really
holding back because of my co-hosts. They said be nice about it. But he was very much so. And then that combined with his nickname that he had for her, Osha, short for Oshalith, or Oshalith. We had this running bit where Jon and I would put on like these high-vis vests, hard hats, and come in as OSHA and call it an OSHA violation. Whenever we'd be like, hey, here's this OSHA violations of the day. He had her enter into a Fey deal without her knowing what that truly meant, that sort of thing. How do you think, if you want to be Kingfisher or speak on his behalf, he would react to being called in by OSHA and sort of held accountable for all these violations he did towards Sarah?
it's so funny because when you said that, I just pictured like, what if he had a lawyer, and what if his lawyer showed up?
That'd be so
My client
funny.
was under a lot of stress. He was stuck in a dungeon. He was stuck in a maze. You gotta understand, he wasn't in the right frame of mind. So you can probably let some of these go with a little slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
He's trying his best. He's trying his best.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And it's like Teledeus
great.
or Renfus is his lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and like in the book, it did start off very like they were, on to him for the OSHA violations. Later on, it became a different kind of OSHA violation, but we still took notes there. And I'm not sure, obviously we can't
a lot
speak
of
to the
notes.
next book, but we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll have to come back and get some more.
OSHA boys will be back.
Yeah, the OSHA boys will be back
OSHA
for
boys.
sure.
Ocean Boys.
I
I'm
love
certain
that
of it.
so much.
We'll send you a clip so you can see what
Yeah.
they look like.
Got a little hard hat right
You
here.
I was
updated?
gonna say we
Yeah,
got him
he's
right
got a
here. I
little-
got him right
Oh
next to
wow! Wow, that's awesome.
That is incredible. I love that.
There are a lot of people, though, when we did post that clip, that would be like, I actually work for OSHA, so reading it and having him call her OSHA is so weird. Like, bringing work into my book. It is funny.
I hadn't thought about it a single time until the episode where, like I said, the boys had read the book first. They had both read Quicksilver already. So Lauren and I were reading it for the first time. It had not crossed my mind. And then all of a sudden they just go into this bit in the middle of the episode. We're like in the middle of a recording. They both just get up and change and come back on screen with their little costumes.
Oh, wow.
I was like, we lived together. When did that come from Amazon?
Right. Well, I remember because I was reading the audiobook and I was a little bit ahead of John at one point. So eventually I was like, hey, I just need you to order a hard hat and a vest.
Yep.
I have a really
Don't
good
ask
idea for a bit.
questions.
I'll tell you when you're to a certain part of the book. But it was fun. We like to inject that sort of stuff into our podcast at times.
That's fantastic. And now, in whatever happens in the next book, I'm going to be like, OSHA violation. OSHA violation.
Well, keep us updated just in case we miss them. You can tell us. Be like, hey, get ready.
So good.
Okay, so what is something readers or listeners might not realize about the audiobook recording process?
Maybe this is where I should have mentioned we've never met before.
Right. Yeah. There's that. And I don't know, do people know how long it takes to record an audiobook? Because that was something, I don't know if even before I started doing audiobook work, I never realized how long it takes. Because there are days where, I'm really feeling it. I'm in character. I'm like, I don't want to stop. And then I have to stop because either my voice is kind of done or it's done for the day. And then I have to wait like a day or two to pick back up where I left off. And so it takes a minute to kind of get back into that groove or get back into that, you got to look back. What did I say? Where are we? And so for me, that's always been like, I wouldn't want to say a challenge, but it's definitely like something I have to remind myself. Because sometimes I'll just go record right in and then I listen back to it. I was like, these are not connected at all. This sounds like a day at the park. They just lost somebody. I think the readers are going to be like, what happened here? So for me, it's a process. It's not just a 1 day or 2 days. Sometimes it's weeks, so.
How long did it take you to record Quicksilver?
I think it was just because there was other stuff going on. It almost took me about a month to do that, to record. Yeah. A day here, hours here.
Sorry, I was just going to say, do they give you like an idea of obviously people going into reading an audiobook can just clearly see, 20 hours, maybe 10 if I read it 2 times speed. Do they give you some sort of like, here's the length of the book, it's expected to take this many hours to record?
Yeah.
Or did you walk into your first audiobook and they were like, we're locking you in this room, who knows how long it's going to take?
My first audiobook, yes, because I didn't know. I didn't know to how long it would be, but they usually tell you. They'll usually tell estimated time. This is how much time your recording should be. So
Yeah. Probably people don't know how often we have to stop for things like lawnmowers in the middle of the day.
good. Stella, that's good.
I've started to hate grass so much, and it gets worse in the fall with leaf blowers. I'm like, why were those invented? You're just blowing it around, like so loud, bad for the environment. Yeah, that'll set me back a couple hours a day.
Oh yeah.
Is there
We
like
feel
a
that
whole...
a little bit with the podcast, just like
Yeah.
4th of July,
Oh,
and like
yeah.
that
Yeah,
whole
fireworks.
week, or
Oh,
because we
yeah.
record at night after our kids go to bed. So it's like, yeah, I totally get that.
And even lately, there's been one of our neighbors will be out mowing at like 8:30 p.m.
Yeah.
We're like, what are you doing?
Yes,
Go to bed.
Drives me insane.
Yeah. Is there like a whole hidden blooper reel somewhere then of either Saeris or Kingfisher just talking and then just being like, who the hell's mowing their lawn?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I love that. It's amazing.
Do either of you have words that you would see in a script and be like, I don't want to say that, but you do? Like
great
ick
question.
words that you're just like, I wouldn't ever say this in real life.
yes. I mean, yeah, Rosebud.
That's valid.
Oh, yep, that's
Very
fair.
good.
I don't like that one.
Gotcha.
Mine was folds, in case you didn't.
Oh.
Not a thing.
Thank you for doing that.
For me, it used to be, and this is way out of left field, it used to be library because I messed up the word in Akatar, and I got a lot of comments of like, some nice comments of like library. I said library instead of library. And then someone's like, I can never look at the book again. I'm going to burn the book. This audio
Oh my
did this to
gosh.
me.
People are so mean.
They
Oh
are.
my gosh.
So now every time that word comes up, I am like, I might as well be speaking British because I'm enunciating every single syllable for that.
You're like traumatized by the library.
Been traumatized. I can't even go into a library now.
Wait, did I misunderstand the assignment? Because I thought you meant a sexy word that is
Oh,
like.
no,
No,
that's-
that's what
That's
we mean.
fine.
Completely valid.
Yeah.
That's why I said left field. It's left field. Yeah, it's a left field.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey,
library can be a
libraries-
sexy word.
Library can
Totally
be a
sexy
sexy
sound.
word.
Absolutely.
Right?
It could be a kink. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, it's been very, very cool hearing all of the behind the scenes stuff. Seriously, we could talk about this forever, but before we let you guys go or kind of start to wrap up, we do have a few wrap up questions here. If listeners love Quicksilver, are there any other audiobooks that you guys have narrated that you'd recommend that they check out?
Or if they didn't love Quicksilver and you also did some books that are other great.
They probably wouldn't be listening to this, but
That's fair.
You can go. I'm so sorry.
Okay. I would say people might like Laura Thalassa's books, like Bewitched and Bespelled. It's a series I've been doing. And then, Anthony, you and I were working on that series that I think, Con, you were mentioning, the Nostos series, which is also to see, which I think would be up the same alley as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think for me, the other one would probably be Raven Kennedy's Plated Prisoner series. I think that's another one similar, and that one as well. Yeah, for now, that's the only one that I'm spacing on the other.
yeah. No, that's a good one.
And Brimstone. That's coming
Yeah.
up.
There you go. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
If you like Quicksilver, you
If
might
they
like
love
that one. I don't know.
Quicksilver. I like Brimstone.
Anthony, you said you had, unless I misheard, a project that you were directing right now as well?
Oh, but that's video directing. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, then forget it. People who don't like that sort
When
of
it comes
stuff.
out, I'll speak about it. When it comes out, I'll speak
That's funny. Well, we have been big fans of you, and just getting to talk to you has been super, super fun. And we know a lot of our listeners also really love you guys. So where can they or us even keep following your work, or where could we find you online? How can we keep our eyes on you and what you're working on?
For me, pretty much on most social media is at Aunt Palmini. You can follow me there. I usually post updates to books that I've narrated, and if I have time, I'll do some funny stuff in there as well. But mainly that. You can follow me on that.
And I am not on social media, but I have a website. I think I remember the name of the website, StellaBloomNarration.com, I believe. And yeah, I'd say that's the best place.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll link those in the show notes as well so people can go follow you and stay updated on what you're working on too. But Stella and Anthony, thank you both so much for joining us today. It's been so much fun getting to chat with you. We are so excited to listen to Brimstone on November 18th, and we cannot wait to hear what you bring to life next. Thank you guys.
Thank you for having me.
guys
Thank
so
you.
much.
So much fun. Thank you.
Oh, man. That was such an awesome conversation. A huge thank you to both Stella and Anthony for joining us and for bringing Saeris and Kingfisher to life in the Quicksilver audiobook.
Yes, this officially concludes our coverage for Quicksilver for now. We'll be diving back into the Fae and Alchemy series this fall when we count down the release of Brimstone. And we can't wait to read it with you all when it drops on November 18th.
18th.
In the meantime, we'll be kicking off a brand new read. We will be reading When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This time, Kyle and I will be leading the charge, guiding Jon and Con through their very first read of this one. And we cannot wait for the reactions and theories to come.
And we will be wrapping up When the Moon Hatched with a special interview episode joined by the author herself, Sarah A. Parker. So be sure to grab your copy and read along with us. As always, the episode schedule will be pinned to our profile over on Instagram.
First time hearing about it?
I've been out of the loop.
You didn't know that?
Wait, you didn't know about it?
I honestly didn't.
See? I knew it, bro. Yeah.
Kyle? I've told you about that, I think.
You tell me about so many special things. There's just like so many cool things that are like almost happening.
The city with the most listens is Melbourne, Australia. Just saying. We're heading to the capital. We're going to meet Bluey.
Yeah, we decided we could invite Sarah Jessica Parker on the podcast to talk about a book she's never read.
My favorite part about this whole conversation is all we have left on this recording is one sentence.
No, that's
and Jon has to edit all of this instead of us having it after he says the
Who
word.
cares?
I'll make it easy for him.
So funny. All right.
Until next time, stay wordy, stay nerdy, don't stress, and stay blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
I gotta go to work.
Womp womp. Sucks to be a manager.
Work.